The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, we have it. Was opining in the newsletter and the den this morning about the last sector that had not started going higher, and that was really oil. I don't think of gold as a sector, really, at least an S&P sector. It was the last one. It was stuck down there in the doldrums, down below 59, and we're looking for that to be the juice to take us up and above 2,700 on the S&P cash. Right now we're at 2695. So we're a stone's throw away from that. Many people ask me how I make my calculations for options expiration, and man, it's something that goes back to 2004, my stocks and commodities article back then. And it's basically just a wisdom of crowd things, the same way that the horse races are done. That is, you sell a little bit more of another horse, or you raise the stakes on the payout on another horse, and you get everybody to kind of settle out there, and you keep the vig or the rake. And that's you can do about 15% of the time you can do that. The odds are about the same for options. But options, pretty much about 85% of them go unexpired. So how do you do that? Well, you kind of, if you're an option market maker, you go out there and you sell a lot of puts while everybody is yelling and screaming and certain that the world is ending. And guess what? Market goes higher. All those puts go unexpired, and you cash in 100% on your money if you're an option market maker. And saying in the den earlier that option market makers are probably the best traders that you will ever find, whether it's computer-based now or for whatever it's been 15 or 20 years. I think since about 1992, option market makers have actually been kind of rulers of the market. They know where all the bodies are buried. They know where people will get wiped out, where they bought, how much they paid for them, and whether they've got still have them. And they can figure out that the market's probably going higher because same reason I did. That is that a lot of people are willing to throw lots of money at the market thinking it's going to go lower. And, of course, they invariably do the wrong thing most of the time. And that is pile on down at the bottom. And that makes it easy for them to just continue selling. Now, today we had one of the more interesting things happen, so I've got some slides that I'll show you. But, of course, if anybody was around at 8:30, you'd see all the fireworks. We've gone to a market now where futures may not mean much of anything, and that is because the computers have become weaponized against future traders. And at the point that, well, we'll get into it, but at 8:30, you have to go back to December 7th of 2016 to find any kind of time where there were as many orders and then nothing. I mean, zero liquidity, zero orders anywhere. Everybody had an order, and then no one had an order. And we'll talk about that today. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfn.com. And, of course, you can always post a message in the den. But we will be doing lots of fun stuff today. So what's happening here? Well, options tell me that they're going to push this up to 2,700. Could it even go a little higher? It could, especially if a lot of people are trapped in this morning where they were shorting the market. I talked about it in the newsletter as a kind of a feedback loop where these guys just can't help but shorting anytime the market looks weak. And guess what? By the end of the day, they have to cover their short positions. So I'm not a big fan of being short much of anything out here. We bottomed out. Everything got washed out. And the market doesn't just instantly go into bearish mode and then sell like it did last week and stay that way. It happens for a very short amount of time. It may be 2 or 3 months. If we're in a bear market, which I'm not conceding we are, I'm only conceding that I'm going to keep my mind open about what the future holds. But at the moment, everything I have is a long position, and I got to give it up to the gold folks. If they could stomach through that to see it pop $25 today. So tip of the hat to those folks. I didn't see it. I thought of a lot of other stocks that seemed like they had a much better opportunity, and I made money either way. So what do we have? That's about it. Well, let's do a little history, and then we'll get into what happened today and what you need to know about what happened today and my conversations with luminaries of the stock market.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 278 AD, yes, that is 278 AD. That's a little while ago, even before Larry Presidento. Valentine, a holy priest in Rome in the days of Empress Claudius II, was executed this day. Why it's known as Valentine's Day. Under the rule of Claudius the Cruel. Not a real uplifting name, is it? Rome was involved in many unpopular bloody campaigns. The emperor had to maintain a strong army, but everybody wanted to hang out with their girlfriends and their wives. So Claudius believed that Roman men were unwilling to join the army because of their strong attachments to the babes. To get rid of the problem, Claudius banned all marriages and engagements in Rome. Valentine, realizing the injustice of the decree, defied Claudius and continued to perform marriages for young lovers in secret. He, as he was going to die, he sent a nice little letter saying that he loved some gal. And that's where we get kind of the idea that you have to give a card or a letter or somebody on this day to say you love them. Unfortunately, he was beaten to death and then his head cut off. But other than that, happy Valentine's Day to all. Okay, so what did we have today? Tried to get Eric Hunsader on the line. We've had him on the show a few times, going back to the days of the flash crash. And we'll talk about what he has to say, what he can't say actually now, and a few other things happening.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
It's a special month at TFNN, and with market volatility back, we've decided to hold an open house in our Tiger's Den. For this month only, you can get a full 30 days of Tiger's Den membership without paying anything. The Tiger's Den is our interactive chat room where you can chat with other tigers and tigresses along with the TFNN hosts during each of their programs. For all of the details and to start your 30-day free trial to the Tiger's Den today, visit the front page of TFNN.com before this deal is gone.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. As I was saying, was trying to get Eric Kunsader on the phone from Nanix. If you don't know who he is, I've talked about him from time to time. He started a company where literally he saved every bit of data, every order, whether executed or not. He saves all the data from all the exchanges and can give it back to you. Of course, he rather famously won $750,000 as a whistleblower because he ratted out the New York Stock Exchange for violating the law. He should have gotten $1.5 million, but the SEC in all its splendor decided to just give him half of that. But he sold Nanix to DTN Software and really can't speak anymore as he's kind of associated. Still has his Twitter feed though and puts things out on it, but a little less acerbic than he has been in the past about things, but posts some interesting stuff. So anyway, not going to be doing any new interviews anytime soon with me or anybody else because he's enjoying all that cash from the buyout by DTN. But some interesting, he keeps posting interesting stuff he sees off his feed. But what we do know is that 8:30 for basically a minute, we had more contracts traded in the S&P futures than any other minute going back, other than the close, where you have a bunch of them every day at 4 o'clock. But you have to go back to December 7th of 2016 to find more contracts traded across any single minute. So if you're looking for giant ticks in the regular market, kind of interesting to see that you actually are getting them in the S&P market. And there's a way that you can look at them. You can always email. Be glad to show you that in the next slide. But one of the things that he has on his site is this kind of little gas gauge that shows the S&P futures liquidity. And I took this is just before 9 o'clock. But this thing was down in his Lord of the Flies level of liquidity. Literally, there was nobody willing to put an order in just about either way, long or short. And we've gotten to the point where liquidity providers have done exactly what they told us that electronic trading would get rid of. And that is the 1987 day where literally all the people on the floor just walked away from the phones. They weren't going to have anything to do with it. They weren't going to offer any other side. They just ran away to the bathrooms. And the phones rang and nothing happened. That's happened before in the market. But we continue to see the S&P futures literally have almost no liquidity in overnights and in markets like now. So I'm wondering if we're getting to the point where when they tell me anything about what S&P futures are predicting for the open, if they're worth the paper that they are printed on anytime soon. Did I get that or did I find it? Did I lose it? Oh, maybe I've got it here. I was going to say it. Okay. Another one I found today after talking to, okay, we'll go to him. Let me get this off the screen. We're going to go to Jack in Hope Sound, Florida. How you doing, Jack?
Hello, I'm doing great. How about you? Everything all right?
Everything is as good as can get. Temperature's perfect. Pool
Well, I'll tell you what.
Pool is awaiting me as soon as the show's over and the sun is out.
That's all we can ask. It's pretty hot down here too. But I was checking in regarding. I got a couple of VIX calls in December, expiring February 24th. I have one left. It's a 20 call, expiring the 21st. Sorry, the 24th. It's I got it for about 60 cents. It's trading around $5. Should I get rid of it here? Is that the end of the VIX excitement?
What's your expiry month?
February 24th, next week.
Okay, I thought you said December. Maybe it's just me.
I bought them in December.
Okay. Here's what I suspect is going to happen and what typically happens during options expiration. It's not all the time, but generally it happens. You will get a push like today on Wednesday. That will get up and hit and ting the bell for the high. What are we at? 2674. I suspect that is just a little over 2700 because that's going to wipe out the most amount of people in the options market, which is the way option market makers plan to do it, right? They need to keep that cash, and by pushing those options out and knowing where the market's going to go and maybe even pushing it a bit, they can get it there. So what happens is you normally get very close or at that level where they want to expire it on Wednesday. You get a slight pullback tomorrow. You then get a retest of today's high going into the close or somewhere during the afternoon. But during that morning time, most of the premium for Friday's expiration and options is pulled out earlier in the day, why it's a little lower. And then you close at the high, whatever that's going to be, 27.10 or something. I suspect that we are going to maybe 27.40, 27.45.
I see.
But if that is the scenario I'm looking at, you have maybe an opportunity to see them bounce tomorrow and maybe even bounce into Friday morning. But that may be a little and not a lot, but maybe every dime's worth it. But that would be the window, I suspect. What's the expiration day?
24th.
So we're on the 14th, and that takes you through the weekend. Okay, so you get all next week. Yeah, I suspect that you're probably going to pull back a little bit, maybe on the 19th. and then we're probably going to rally the rest of that week up to 2740, 2750, something like that. That's kind of been my target.
I see.
So what you have is, I think that's it. I think you got a day or so tomorrow where it's probably going to pull back. Everybody will get all hot and bothered again, and then it goes back up and closes above 2,700 to fry as many people in 2,700 puts and calls as there is. They sold an absolute ton of those on the way down, right?
Good.
So if they just park it there, the people that bought calls and the people that bought puts are just going to be wiped out. And they sold out absolute, well, you know, a lot of them. So
yeah.
a excrement load. So
So the VIX is probably seeing its high for a while now. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I just, you know, could something happen? It could, but without knowing 100% the future, the pattern would be try to get out of that by Friday morning.
All right. Hey, thanks for your help. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Bye.
We'll be back after this.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Anyway, for the caller, I was talking about this site that Eric Hunsader turned me on to. It's called Market Data Peaks. And all it is contracts through. So if you're interested in seeing maybe another version of the tick where everybody's buying it, selling at one time, this is kind of an interesting thing here. Let's see. Let me get that there. Anyway, we can see the huge spike at 8:30 this morning that literally takes you back a couple of years to get to the kind of level of volume we had. So fairly significant. And then the instantaneous drop of anybody trading anything. You got to basically into just after 9 o'clock and started seeing all the shorts run out right after 9. This is Eastern time, by the way. I mean, excuse me, Central time. So anyway, you can look at it. If you need the link, let me know. But it's marketdatapeaks.com. And another look or another way to see exactly what's going on, if you're trying to figure out what's happening in the S&P. I know Tom talks a lot about contracts, and it's been kind of a hard way to get instantaneous volume on them. And this is kind of interesting site. So keep an eye on that. Okay, does that get me through everything I wanted to talk about today? Nanex, yep, I think it does. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. We're going to look at some of the stocks that have been bouncing today. And Baidu, some of these are on earnings, have come up fairly nicely. What do we have? Nice little doji out here. Looks like the halfway move back up into the high of 265.77, which is the January 16th high. That had 4.10 million shares. You already have 6.6 million shares in Baidu. That looks interesting. CMG is getting the Taco Bell CEO, and anything looked like up after these guys have been taking such an incredible beating. This is just coming up and filling half of the gap. But again, you get a lot of these gap ups in where everybody's horribly overshorted the market, and it's like a party. You don't want to be the last one out the door. And you know, if you made a lot of money in that short, I don't understand the idea of hanging on to it any longer. You know, it was kind of coming back down to test the low of Friday the 9th. But at some point, you got to say, hey, I made a lot of money. And we know that bulls and bears make money. Pigs get slaughtered. And my guess is there were a lot of people down there oinking on the short side. What else do we have? Let's see some other ones. Fossil Group, talking about another stock that actually is absolutely gutting the short and monster short positions in this. They actually started selling some smartwatches. Believe it or not, someone's been successful in this market. They've been selling very inexpensive smartwatches, don't do a lot, but apparently they found a decent market for them in Europe. Maybe that'll transfer over here to the United States. A combination between that and monster short sellers in this thing with 50 or 60% of the shares short. All you got to do is light the candle, and you're in like a room with nothing but barrels of gunpowder that could go off with one stray spark. That's what you had in Fossil Group. Again, this one went up and filled about half of this gap down that goes back to the May 10th gap down that had 11.6 million shares. We already have 30 million shares already in this one today. Is it life after death for Fossil? This was not on my, I don't think I put this on my living dead list, but it is interesting. Okay, I got something from somebody, but it's absolutely nothing. It's empty. So you might want to send me that again. What else do we have in that? Anyway, Fossil up, crushing some short positions. In KTR, which is Nectar Therapeutics. Is it today? Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. is got a licensing deal with one of the big wigs out there where they're going to be able to sell 8 of their drugs through them. This thing popped fairly decently today. 86, 87 was the high today. It's got volume and could go back to the 99.02 level. I don't think that that would take much on the news. OLED had a deal with Samsung today. These guys make organic LED data. Huge volume, nice spike higher to 167.70. This one did kind of come back a little bit to 160, but you're still keeping a great deal of that. Soda opened up at the highs, rotated down even to a losing position on the day, and then vastly turned around and headed back higher. It's going to hold this at 82 bucks today, but it did get to 84.33. But when everybody was feeling kind of dour and sour the first 15 minutes of trading out here, it was getting bludgeoned fairly quickly. I actually wanted to buy a stock that was the most hated stock in all of the United States right now, and I did it right after the open this morning. Got a good fill on it, so we'll see how that one does. We'll talk more about it when we come when we conclude the trade in the daily newsletter. But I think this was for a trader, if you could act, this was one of the gifts that trading gives you, a day and an open like today, where you just see literally the only reason the thing blew up was that there is no liquidity in pre and post markets a lot of times now. Anyway, soda, kind of interesting. I still have no idea why this stock is up at 85 bucks. Anyone that uses this, would you call and tell me that you see lots of other people buying this stuff at the store? It may be a European or a thing for South America or Africa or something, but I've yet to see anybody have one of these machines, buy anything from one of these machines, or do anything with one of these machines. Although I always hear the tale that people do it. I've never seen it myself. To Twillo. Nice little pop out on this one. And again, this one had a good buy signal. I just did not. I wanted it to go about 50 cents lower. The May 8th low out here at 22.80 came in with 7.4 million shares. You got in with 50 cents of it, and I got a sneeze. Well, you know, it's springtime again in Florida because the air's on and I sneeze with the air. Anyway, Twillo, again, 40 cents, didn't quite get down there. I would have liked to seen it. Certainly wouldn't have been short on that light volume test of the previous low. Anyway, a huge move out here to 32 bucks today. We'll get to Wix next, and then we'll look at some other stocks around the market.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks. Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The Taz Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the Taz Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Taz Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the Taz Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we had some new traders email me at the break about what liquidity is. Liquidity is how much you could buy right now at a displayed price, i.e. they say that they've got 100 shares. You can buy 100 shares, and you would get all 100 shares. Volume is how much you actually bought. So liquidity and volume is different. Liquidity is how much is there available right now. Kind of like going to the store and wanting to buy shampoo, and there's 5 bottles in there that you could buy of the kind you like. Yeah, that's liquidity. It's depth. Volume is how much you actually bought, probably 1 bottle, maybe 2. The price you paid minus the displayed price is the slippage. And that's exactly when you're chasing markets and when markets are falling, the slippage between those two. But when we're talking liquidity right now and the lack of liquidity, literally the amount at displayed prices is next to none. 1 contract, 5 contracts, and you need liquidity like at 8:30 for thousands and thousands of contracts every minute. And that's what we're talking. Literally nobody's going to put a buy or sell order in, so therefore you really don't have a market. A market maker's job is to provide a liquidity during these periods. And what did they do? They pulled everything away. They, when it's convenient, they don't bother getting and losing any money. That's for the rubes. But, of course, they signed a contract saying that they would do that. But not so much a rule as a suggestion, as they say. Anyway, give me a call at 877-927-6648. We'll look at this market up here. 2694, 2693, right in there. Again, probably going to see just a little bit of a pullback tomorrow. May even open in this area on Friday morning, and then look for the gentle push into Friday's close, I would suggest. Then we're going to go into what is next week. And I suspect, as we talked about yesterday, that gap up. Did I have it here? We'll go ahead and find it here. Let me do this. Okay. I continue to think that we're going to at least this gap going back to the 5th, because that's where everybody started hopping on the short bandwagon. And my guess is they're going to hold these shorts, just assuming the market goes down the tubes, and they'll get back up to here where the all the ones that they bought were pretty much worthless. The high of that day was 2763. But what was that? The open when this gap down was 2471. That's why I'm thinking that 2470, or excuse me, 2740 to 2745 range, right on top of that candle of the 5th, is where maximum resistance is going to be in this market. Now, when we get into that, that's going to tell me whether or not we go retest the highs. Maybe we do it sometimes this summer. Maybe we go sideways for 2 months, and then we start moving back higher. But I continue not to believe all the negative waves and think actually the inflation pressures that we saw in the CPI numbers this morning, basically if you take $5 out of crude when those numbers were published, we're basically flat in those CPI numbers. So why crude had a huge move, it had kind of was consequential to where the numbers were. So we're kind of back before those numbers, and I just don't see the huge inflation. Right now, everybody's looking kind of like the McCarthy hearings, looking for any sign of anybody that's either a communist or a hint of inflation. That's all they need, just a little smell of it, and they go, like that girls go on wild. That's what it is. They go wild. That's what we saw at 8:30 this morning. Okay, so let's take a look at some other stocks. Talked to somebody yesterday, got a couple of emails about Microsoft. Do I still think it could hit $100? I haven't changed my view on this. We're back up to 90.41. Could I see this thing drift back up to $100? I think I can. Even though we made a lower low, the volume was a little bit lighter out here on the February 9th low. That was 63 million shares compared to the 68 million shares on February 6th. So for me, this is kind of just some market indigestion. And if you hang on to it, I think you got $100. So not a lot changing on that. Now, if we blow up at 27.45, I'm not telling you to take Microsoft to the grave, but I think we could maybe longer and take longer and be slower than you think to 100. But I think it has the ability to go back up there. Let's take a look at some of the things that I'm looking at out here to just keep an eye on my stocks. Well, that one's close. That one's good. That one's good. Oh, that one's great. Okay. That one can do better. It's a little off, but it's had a huge run already. Okay. Okay. So let's take a look at Intel. INTC. And I've got a question on here why we look at Intel. We'll talk about why Microsoft and Intel probably are going to do well. Even though everybody's talking about inflation and everything else in the world. One, they have cash. Two, they don't need cash. Inflation hurts those folks that have to pay interest on upcoming stuff. Intel, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, these guys don't need to do much. And if they need, they can sell a few shares and get any cash they need. The Dow, there were several times when people were selling the Dow off below flat today, earlier in the day. Why the S&P and the NASDAQ? I think the NASDAQ was up 30, and then the Dow was flat, and the S&P was up 10 or 15, and the Dow was flat. And that's going to tell you something, and that is because industrial companies need to borrow money and will always need to borrow money. They tend to be high infrastructure type businesses, and that will continue to be what these things do. So just just be aware that if you're looking for outperformance, it's going to be in stocks that don't have to buy or borrow money. And whether that's a big biotech that's printing money with some kind of drug, so they don't need to borrow money, those are the ones who are probably going to outperform as long as they can keep sales well and done. Anyway, when we look at Intel out here, this thing bounced 3 times along this 42 level, got up to 50 bucks, pulled all the way back. My guess is this thing did break above the previous high on the 26, did so with volume, 87 million shares, came back in here on the drubbing. My guess is it's headed back up to $50.55 too. And also, for those people that always correct my grammar, we'll be back in a minute.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
You don't buy into that nonsense, do you? You know you can't time the markets. I didn't. And in 2006, I set out on a mission to do just that. I began by surrounding myself with the greats like Tom O'Brien, Larry Pesavento, David White, and Basil Chapman. I read countless books and even looked to the moon and planets for answers. Now, we both know that trading is 80% mental. So I learned the exact tools that Tony Robbins uses to overcome fear. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability. And last March, the folks at Timers Digest began tracking my newsletter signals, which through January 18, 2018, placed me as the #1 gold timer for that exact time frame. Now, I can't officially be recognized until Timers Digest has a full year of signals, but clearly I've learned how to time the markets, and I'd like to teach you how to do that as well. Subscribers to Mastering Probability gain access to my live and archive workshops where I show you the exact same patterns that earned me this #1 ranking. If you're looking for great market calls and an education, sign up for Mastering Probability today at TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Well, getting a lot of email today. Thanks for the kind word, Ken in Connecticut. Nice link too. Thanks very much. One of the questions was, why was I expecting crude to bounce? And this is my short-term sector oscillator. And this thing had been literally on the floor for 3 days, or 4 days, something like that, 5 days. And it was the only one to not actually bounce off the lows. Hopefully you can see that. I'll try to zoom in just a little bit better. I'm putting my mouse over it, but literally since the last couple of days of January into today, this thing had done literally nothing. And today, what is that? The OIH. Let's take a look at that right now here. Where is it? Here. Okay. Let's do this real quick. OIH. And I thought that this one would come up since the energy is about 30% of the movement of the S&P are correlated to it. If you could get any kind of move on the OIH or any of these energies, it wouldn't even have to be much. You would probably start seeing some people cover, and you'd get a lot of movement in the energy sector, even this one being pretty much the weakest of all sectors other than the REIT sector out there, which had already bounced a little bit. And we had this thing move higher. Anyway, is there a lot of juice in this? No, but all you need is a couple more days, and you're probably going to get it. Maybe this thing gets back up to, let's do the retracements on it. 25.45 on the OIH would just be a 382 dead cat bounce. So, I mean, you got a little ways to go out here. A lot of people after this. So just keep an eye on it. We're out of time for today. But, man, it went quick. Thanks for all the emails. See you tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time. Remind yourself to sell when you can, not when you have to.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.